let's slow down for a second, because Garrett Wilson is out here alphaing Elijah Moore and Corey Davis. Meanwhile, Drake London is alphaing Kyle Pitts.
Right. What do you always say? Two's company, three's a crowd.
Yeah.
Like Atlanta does not have a crowd. They have a Bryan Edwards.
And what's amazing about that is that Drake London has made it a one-man show with
right.
Kyle
Let's transition. Let's talk about London too, because they're both awesome.
Let's go to London.
Yeah, let's talk about London, and let's talk about Pitts, because everybody wants to know what the hell to do with Pitts. So let's talk about Atlanta. Let's talk about Bryan Edwards. Bryan Edwards, they tried to go to the fourth quarter god. It was fourth down. Their season was on the line. Well, their game was on the line. And they have Kyle Pitts, and they have Drake London. And I have my tweet in front of me last night, and I said, if I had Drake London on my team, that was the follow-up. My initial tweet was, I probably wouldn't want my game to come down to Bryan Edwards versus Jalen Ramsey if I was the team with Bryan Edwards.
I would probably not take the Bryan Edwards side, no matter who he was matched up against. But in that specific instance, I think you probably nailed it.
Yeah. All right, what do you think about Atlanta? You go first this time. Pitts, London?
Well, I think that Drake London is like borderline so like everybody knows in Dynasty we have the Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase 1 and 2. Like I think most are on Jefferson and then Chase at this point, but maybe not. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. They're 1 and 2, and that's
it matters to me. I have like Jefferson and then Chase. Yeah, I have it's like 2 tiers.
I'm Jefferson and then Chase for sure.
No, but I'm saying I don't have them in the same tier. Like I don't think they're interchangeable. I actually would add to Chase to get Jefferson.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair as well. Like I'm not adding a lot to Chase to get Jefferson, but I'd add a little bit. Like maybe a second round pick. I'm not giving up like a
I'd add a second round
first round pick or anything to go from.
I'd add a second round pick. My general rule for tiers is that if I would pay a second round pick to get somebody else, and they're no longer in the same tier.
That's fair. So anyway, we have those two, and then we have this like unknown at wide receiver 3. I think a lot of people don't really know who the wide receiver 3 is. There's no consensus on who the wide receiver 3 is.
Well, there's a consensus between the smart people,
But there isn't, because it's not AJ Brown. Stop it. And anyways, it's like AJ Brown is in the exact same situation he's always been in, and nothing has changed. He's still great.
Let's talk about Atlanta first, and then we're going to make this a wider wide receiver 3 discussion, because your AJ Brown take is so egregious. And I think that you have a good take on London and Pitts, and I don't want people to turn off the show after they hear your AJ Brown take, because if I was to hear your AJ Brown take first, I couldn't take anything else you have to say seriously. So I want you to talk about London and Pitts before you sully all of your credibility about AJ Brown.
Drake London is, I forget where I had him in the overall history of the Bulletproof fantasy football, or in the Bulletproof process for wide receivers, but he was like a 96th percentile prospector, somewhere thereabouts. He's like literally one of the best prospects we've ever seen. He comes out and he alphas Kyle Pitts, one of the best, probably the best tight end prospect we've ever seen, who also had the best rookie season we've ever seen. Aside from like, I don't know, 1968 and Mike Ditka or something like that. But like, nobody knows what happened in that era. Like, there's not even video of that. So get out of here. Kyle Pitts is the best ever. Anyways, Drake London is this elite prospect who has walked in the NFL and played like an elite playmaker on day one. As far as I'm concerned, we're basically at Drake London is an elite NFL player. And when we're at that point, we're looking at he's 21. Is he 21 years old now, or is he still 20? I think he just turned 21.
I think he's now 21.
Yeah, he just turned 21 fairly recently, within the last few months, I think. Since the draft. I think he was 20 at the draft. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. The age doesn't really matter. He's super young. He's a rookie. He's playing like one of the best wide receivers in the football already. He's probably not going to challenge Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson's rookie season like record-setting pace. Although, you know what, he probably is. Let's just go there. Is Drake London going to be the best rookie wide receiver we've ever seen? Yes or no?
No, because we've just seen like the last 2 years of Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, but he's not going to be that, but he's going to be really good anyway. And when you're dealing with super young players that are really, really good.
Mostly because, like, I'm sorry to your favorite player in the NFL, but Marcus Mariota is definitely not Joe Burrow, and he's not even Kirk Cousins.
He's not going to get it. He's not going to get my boy Drake to that level. Drake's going to have a really strong season. He's probably going to be a wide receiver 2 this year, which is like an incredibly strong season for a rookie. And so anyway, I'm like, I don't know if he's wide receiver 3 necessarily, but I think he's in the conversation, and I think that's saying a hell of a lot about a player that's played 2 games. Maybe I'm overreacting, but probably not. We're confirming priors here. We thought he was great. He is great. He will continue to be great because whatever happens in the first 2 weeks of the season carries on for the rest of the year and into perpetuity thereafter. Kyle Pitts, on the other hand, was like, so I get a lot of flack for fading Kyle Pitts last year, which I think is pretty unfair because
it's fair.
I think I kind of nailed it. We were taking, the quarterbacks, which most people were taking the quarterbacks over Kyle Pitts. And I think that was still the right play. Like, the quarterbacks have been so unbelievably bad in comparison to what we thought they were going to be. And not just like me, like what everyone thought they were going to be, that I think it was still the right play to take the quarterbacks, not Zach Wilson. We should have never taken Zach Wilson. I don't remember if I had him before or after Pitts. I might have actually had him before, and that would have been anything.
Well, that would have been bad. Yeah.
But anyway, like
Javonte ahead of
yeah, I think I had Javonte and Etienne. I don't know if I had Najee ahead of him. I might have.
Oh, well, that's egregious.
Really, the whole point of all this is that my entire rankings were basically get Jamar Chase or get nobody. Jamar Chase was my 102 after Trevor Lawrence. That was the play. If you were drafting it all in the first half of the first round, you were taking Jamar Chase and you're happy. So get out of here. Kyle Pitts turned out to be really good too, and that's great. He was the best tight end prospect we've ever seen. He had the best rookie year we've ever seen, except for in the era pre-TVs. And therefore, Kyle Pitts is going to be great. I'm not panicked at all at this point. I will probably never panic. And in fact, if Kyle Pitts never becomes good, I will be telling you to buy Kyle Pitts every single day until he's out of the league. Because Kyle Pitts has the opportunity and the ability to win your fantasy league on an annual basis in the realm of what Travis Kelce has done for the past, decade or so. So that's where I'm at with those guys. I think they're both elite. Whoever gets drafted by the Falcons in the first round this year for the quarterback, I got to presume they're going to take a quarterback this year, is going to be a very sought after player.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason why I took so much Desmond Ridder, is that I think that just in the off chance, probably bad, almost certainly bad. Just in case he's not bad. Just in case he's not bad.
He's probably
a rushing quarterback who gets to throw to Drake London and Kyle Pitts.
Like Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, except he's definitely bad. That's very much known. It's just, when I watch Jalen Hurts out there trying to work his way into the top 10 overall in Dynasty, right? I wouldn't want to be the person who faded Desmond Ridder. I wouldn't want to be like, oh, I could make this mistake again. I could fade the rushing quarterback again.
Stop it. Okay. Jalen Hurts was a substantially better prospect than Desmond Ridder, regardless of the draft capital.
Yeah, of course.
Substantially.
Right, we get it. You have player takes. You evaluate players, right? You think that that's what you're trying to do.
We pick the right players in this house.
Right. Did you know that Desmond Ridder would call his own line adjustments in college?
Do I care that he called his own line adjustments? Could he called his own line adjustments and then still couldn't make any of the passes required?
Yeah, it's true. It's his fault that Alec Pierce sucks. Anyway,
in college, Desmond Pierce didn't suck, or he shouldn't have sucked. He got drafted in the second round of the NFL draft.
No, I'm joking. This is just there's this ongoing thing where people kept saying that Alec Pierce only had bad fancy stats because of his quarterback play, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I was like Desmond Ridder is probably a bad NFL prospect, but I was like, he's definitely one of the better things you could hope for in a college quarterback. The guy got drafted in the NFL. I was like, what are we doing?
Holding anyone back in college. He's holding everyone back in the NFL, but he ain't holding anybody back in college.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a totally useless tangent. I agree with everything you said about Kyle Pitts. I think that it's if you think about especially if you think that you're a really good fantasy manager, which you probably requires some level of self-awareness to actually come to that realization and be correct. But if you're an experienced dynasty manager, if you have a track record of success, and you expect that over a certain number of years, you're more likely than not to accrue a high-value roster, you should be prioritizing Kyle Pitts because he's one of the least, we talk about replaceable in sense of value over replacement all the time. I like to even use the word replicable. You can't even, it's not that you can't replace Kyle Pitts, you can't even replicate Kyle Pitts if he hits, right? Right now, he's not obviously hitting. But really, there's only one other asset currently in the NFL that you can say replicates Kyle Pitts' ceiling, which is Mark Andrews. And he's also a massive buy, and you should buy Mark Andrews. But otherwise, it's Kelce, who's really old. That's not going to last forever. It's Darren Waller, who's pretty good. I'm very happy to have Darren Waller on several teams. but he doesn't have that level of a ceiling. He's getting up there, and he plays with Devontae Adams. George Kittle, he has his own problems. He's always injured. He plays with two other really good players. He has an uncertain quarterback future. They don't pass the ball. And, by the time that he doesn't really have age on his side anymore for all of those types of externalities to sort themselves out. Like, if they ever sort themselves out, he's probably 31 by that point. So it's really just Pitts and then Andrews. And maybe Brock Bowers, eventually in 2024. Who knows? But for now, like, we only have two players that have like demonstrated the elite type of thing that we need out of tight end in their peripherals, and that are also young. And it's just Pitts and Andrews. So I'm buying Pitts. I'm also buying Andrews, but that's the kind of missing piece that nobody else in your league can match. And I want to, like, if there's a bet that I'm willing to go down with the ship on, that's the bet that I'm willing to go down with the ship on. All in on Kyle Pitts. I'm in on Drake London. I have Drake London as my dynasty wide receiver 4.